For today's prompt, Forgotten Snacks, I'm changing the order of making things around a little bit. I decided on a mushroom printable as a base, which I'm folding in half and then creasing with the help of my little vintage iron. And finally, I'm taking it to my sewing machine to stitch around 3 times. Welcome back to Dephemerember 2023. It's Barbara from Vienna, Austria. I'm co-hosting this series with my dear friend Luise and I, making fun ephemera in December. And if you're new here, please check the link in the description box with all the information you need to catch up, including freebies and other printables, as well as my playlist. So this is what my page for today looks like that I'm going to be working on. The image is fairly dark because I printed it on matte photo paper. If you print images on copy paper, they will be a little bit lighter. And this is from my mushroom garden set. This is the back, which is more neutral. I have a mushroom category in my shop, and if you've watched my previous videos, then you will know that there is currently a discount until the end of January 2023 on all of my mushroom products, including this set, which also has ephemera and collage sheets and everything. So feel free to check the link out below this video if you are in need of more mushrooms in your life. So today's prompt, Forgotten Snacks, was an interesting one for me because I had been thinking a lot about which snacks could I refer to. And there were some from my childhood, like Austrian snacks, that I could have used, but none of them really felt right for this project. And then about 2 weeks ago, I went shopping with my BFF and we went to a shop called Half Price. I'm sure it's available in many other countries. It's a chain, and I would compare it maybe to something like TJ Maxx or what it's called here in Austria, TK Maxx. And I bought some, what did I buy? I think a hat. And at the checkout counter, I could not believe my eyes. I saw something that I haven't seen since my early 20s. And it's a snack from the US that I used to love dearly. Of course, it looks different now. Jolly Ranchers. It's hard candy, which I'm actually usually not even a fan of, but they had this flavor and thank goodness it was in here because they only had this assortment of flavors and it has cherry, strawberry, watermelon, and fruit punch. I loved watermelon so much. I remember these looked differently. They had transparent packaging. You could actually see the candy through the wrapper. I remember that. The price, I think, is insane. €6.90, so about $6 for this one pack of candy. But obviously I had to have it because this is the perfect candy for me for this prompt. It has a cute packaging too, so I can definitely use that in my prompt. I tried getting this price label off and you see, unfortunately, I get this ugly thing, so I will have to figure out what to do with this. But I definitely want to use this part of the packaging. So I'm going to carefully cut this open. But I can already tell you I will not eat this right now. I hope to remember to eat this at the end of the video. If not, please scream at your, at your display to remind me. Because it's morning here and I haven't even had any breakfast or anything, so I don't want to start off my day with a candy. Not that I will have eaten anything by the end of the video, but at least it'll be a little later in the day then. Oh, they are still see-through. This picture is misleading. But they do look different. They used to be like these really rectangular blocks. Now it looks like they're more round and they are smaller for sure. So this is watermelon. Oh my goodness, let me just smell it. Does not have a strong smell. I have to try this. So I'm going to empty this out so that I can make a pocket out of this. So just as a reference, in my early 20s, I lived in California for a while. So these take me back to a very interesting time in my life where I was engaged to a US Marine. Lots of ups and downs in my life during that time. And just in case you're wondering, no, I did not marry that Marine. I decided to stay here in Austria instead. Hardest choice of my life at that time. So let's move this out of the way. That really seems like a lifetime ago. It's crazy. Okay, so it was important for me to have this page here so that I know what dimensions I can make this pocket. Actually, I can first cut off the back because I only need the front layer. I'll cut this down a little bit. It is so crooked. It's okay. It's a junk journal. And then I actually don't want it this high. I do want to still be able to read the Jolly Rancher for sure. So I'll cut it right here. And I could add one of these candies on top of that. Maybe I will mount this onto a cardstock so that it's not so flimsy, because I kind of want to add it so that it kind of sticks out from the pocket. So I've cut it out. I've backed it with cardstock. Let's see if it fits. Yes, it does. That's perfect. Before I glue this on, I'm going to sew around the pocket first. Okay, let's glue that down. Effie is very excited to try that candy as well. It's very hard for him to wait until the end of the video. I'm sorry, Effie, but this is not healthy so early in the morning. Okay, so our pocket is ready to go. I usually do it the other way around. I usually make my ephemera first. So let's move this out of the way. By the way, I'm so happy with my dangle. Or my bracelet, I should say. I love that I can also just flip it up so that it's not in the way. So this packaging, of course, got me thinking back to that time when I was in the US. And I went through my photos to see if I still had any photos from that time. And I did. So I have these two photos. They make me laugh a lot. I don't like myself in this picture at all, but I was at Costco. Those of you in North America will have recognized this probably. And I was just so amazed with all the big packages, because we don't have this in Europe. Seeing packages this size was just so much fun. And I loved this lemonade. It's like this instant lemonade. It's just a powder that you mix with water. And this is by Country Time. I loved this so much. Also the pink one, pink lemonade. Oh my goodness. In the summer, this was by far my favorite drink, with loads of ice cubes. Oh, so good, so good. I am salivating now. So what I want to do with these two photos is to try something from the card making world. It's I don't know what you call it, something like an interchangeable photo thing. I don't know what the correct name is. So let's try that. As usual, I don't make prototypes, so this is going to be very adventurous and it may go wrong. No promises. I did, however, write myself a cheat sheet so that I would get the steps right, because that took me a while to figure out. So we're going to need 2 circles with the same diameter with the 2 photos that we want to use. So I'm just going to put this cardstock underneath, because I'm going to use a compass, and this just gives me a little more body to poke into. I don't want to give you set measurements because your photos are going to be different from mine. The width I'm taking for my compass is 4.7 centimeters. Excuse me, Effie. What is that in inches? That would be almost 2 inches. But you do what works with the photos that you want to do this with. So I need to find the middle so that both legs will still be in the picture, and you can kind of move it around to see what will actually be in that circle, if that's what you want. So this looks fine. So I'll draw my circle. And I leave the same measurement for my bottom photo. Obviously, I want my head in it. So I'll put it there. Then I am roughly going to cut around these circles. And I'm going to mount them onto some cardstock because I want these to be more sturdy. And then I'll cut out the circles. Be as precise as you can with these circles. It's going to make your life a lot easier for the next steps. So once you have your circles cut out, I would align them and see if I need to adjust them anywhere, like here. Optionally, you can ink up your edges. Next, we need another circle out of cardstock, which is bigger than these circles. So if we go back to our middle hole here, I'm going to go out this much. This adds approximately 1 centimeter. I would say that's the minimum. I would like to go 1.5 centimeters, but I don't think that's going to fit in my pocket then. So I can check. The glue goes about till here. So the circle can start here. And then if we do this twice, yeah, that is the widest I can go with my circle. So think of that before you cut out these circles. You need to have space for a bigger circle, or maybe don't make your pocket before you make your circles. That would probably be easier. So I'll cut out another circle from my cardstock. So I've inked around this as well. I've inked around both sides because we're going to see the back side of this. So next we're going to take the photo we want in the back. I know you don't know yet what this is going to look like, but you'll see at the end. Hopefully. I'm going to glue this photo onto the bigger circle. So next we need to find our hole again that we made in the beginning. So mine is here. I just want to see that well. So I'm going to poke a little bigger hole. And we're actually going to need an even bigger hole because we're going to add a brad through these. So either you have one of those, what are they called? The crocodiles with the a big bite. Either you have a big bite or maybe you have one of these tools where you can make holes. If you have none of this, you can just take a craft knife. So I would draw a circle first with my pencil right around this here, and then use my craft knife to cut a circle big enough so that you can fit the legs of a brad through. I'm going to try this tool that I really don't like a lot, but it does come in handy sometimes. This is from Fiskars. Actually, I'm not going to do it on this glass plate because I think that's not a good idea. So how it works is you just pull it. It has a very, very tight spiral here, and you just pull it. And then with the pressure, it makes the hole, but it's super loud. I really don't like it. I will do this off camera. Effie, you can come back now. I'm done with the holes. Okay, it's all safe. I mean, this tool does get the job done. But yeah, I just don't like the loud noise. So next we need to cut slits. That will depend on what your photos look like. Normally I would cut it here, but I don't want to cut right through my face. So I'm going to do mine on the left side, here and here. So we need one slit. I can do that with my scissors, just from the hole to the end of the circle. Like that. And then we need a hole here, but not in the frame. So I'm going to draw a line from my middle to the end of the photo. And then I'm going to cut that with my craft knife. Oh, Effie's scared. He's leaving again. Using a metal ruler, it would be much better. Yeah, I think I've cut into my ruler. So then you have a slit in here, but you did not cut through this part here. Let's put this away so that Effie can come back. Effie, it's safe. Okay, let's put this away. I'm going to ink up this slit. I think that's a good idea. I'm not sure how much we're going to see of this, but I'll just ink it up anyway. So the photos need to have the slit on the same side, either on the left, on the right, top, bottom, doesn't matter, but they need to be on the same side. So now we place the photo without the frame onto the photo with the frame, and we can slide it in like this so that a little bit is overlapping on the back side. And then we take a brad, and you need one with a fairly flat head. If your head is not really flat, like this isn't really flat, but I think this should be okay, you could always hammer it down to make it more flat. So we'll put that in there. Then we'll bend down the legs. So now we turn this around and we make a little lever which will help us turn this top piece. I actually just flattened this now because I think that'll be easier for the next step. I just used a regular hammer. And now we need a cardboard strip to go over this part here, with which we can then turn the photo more easily. So I'll use the same cardstock. You can make the lever as long as you want. It needs to cover the brad. I don't have that much space because of the dimensions of my pocket, but I can have it, I think, going out a little bit over the edge of my frame. So here's my brad. So I'll go just a little bit over. So that'll be the length. You see it's going a little bit over here. And then the width should also cover my brad. Let's see how this looks. Barely covers my brad, but I think it's all right. I'll double this up because I want my lever to be sturdy. And let's see if we can make round corners. No. We can make them by hand. Or maybe instead of corners, we'll just cut off the corners. Just to give it a nicer shape. Then we'll ink around this as well. And I'll also ink around the tip here, because again, we'll see the tip from the back. Effie, you can watch, it's okay. And then I'll put some glue on the tip of the brad, as well as on the photo here, just on the top photo. And we can add our strip. Okay, so now we can move this with the lever, but we still have the problem that the paper can come out because, you know, it can just come through this slit here. So we need to add something here on this moving part so that it stops here and can't come out. So we're just going to take another strip of cardstock and we can just tape that onto this piece, and your piece needs to be bigger than your photo because we need it to stop here, but it shouldn't be bigger than your circle. So I'm just going to take regular tape and I'm just going to align them like this and then add my tape. I might have to cut that down a little bit. So I'm putting the tape to the edge of my photo disc. And then I'm cutting the rest off here. We don't want the tape to go over the brad because the brad needs to be able to turn. And I also don't want my tape going over this side. Again, we want our card to move. So I'll just pull it out a little more and make sure that the tape is on here properly. So now when we move this, it can't go further than this, and this is not going to pop out because this little part here is stopping it from moving further. You could just leave it like this, but I have this arrow here, which I think would look really nice on top here. And I just added a little brad because I didn't want the open hole, because I cannot actually put it in here because I've already glued that down. But I can put this here, and that just makes a nicer lever, I think. So I'll just glue that down. And then I want to add the forgotten snacks prompt. I could do forgotten and then snacks down here. And I'll again use these. I forgot the G. No. Oh no. You know what? We're just going to keep going, because forgetting a letter in the word forgotten maybe is just perfect. Maybe I'll do a tiny G, but I seriously forgot that. That was not meant to be like that. Let's see if we can do the snacks. I even wrote it down next to me so that I would know. So you see, Effie, sometimes you just have to go with the flow. Embrace the imperfection. So let's try this out. So we can move the lever and reveal the other photo. Whoop whoop. Like that. That is fun. And then we can turn it back and reveal the other photo. That is so fun. So now we can stick it into our pocket. Let's see if it actually fits. Yes, it fits. That's awesome. Just to be a little bit careful with this lever sticking out. We still see our mushrooms. So now we just need to punch the holes. I'll mark them from the back side because that's easy. Oops, that is easier. And no, Effie, I am not forgetting about the candy. That was a quick one today, Effie, wasn't it? So let's add the page into our pretty full journal. Yes, Effie, we're trying the candy now. He's all excited. Okay, let's find a watermelon one. There we go. Let's see if it tastes how I remember it to taste. Oh, Effie has jumped into the bowl. Okay. So this is what it looks like. Oh yes, the taste is exactly like I remember. It's a little bit sour. Definitely has a very artificial watermelon taste, but it's very yummy. What do you think, Effie? Which ones do you like? Are you like the fruit punch? I'll have to try that one later. So another prompt to check off. So we only have 2 more prompts, and then we have Effie's door prompt. Effie, I still don't know what this one is going to be. Are you going to give me any hint? Oh, he's busy eating candy. Okay, no hint. We'll just have to wait and see. Oh, forgot to close this. Please be careful of your fingers once it's so full. As always, Luise's video is linked below. So if you haven't seen it until now, let's go do that together. Love you guys. Mwah, mwah.